Our next panel will be connecting research to entrepreneurship, the importance of university ecosystems. And therefore I would like to ask our moderator, Lina Ioannou from Enterprise Greece, to come to the stage, as well as our panel members, Christina Deligianni, she will be on the screen, Nikos Efthymiadis, our former honorary consul in Thessaloniki, Faye Orfanou, and Betty Tsakarestou.
You will allow me to make a small intro. I'm very, very happy to be here celebrating the 10 years of Orange Grove. We go long back all the way together. All from its beginning, the Orange Grove has maintained a constant link to academia and research in Greece, and trying to connect to Dutch and international expertise, I might say. It connected and cooperated from the beginning with the newly founded entrepreneurship units within universities. Then we were very happy there to meet people, meet Dutch experts in the boot camps it organized back in the days. It welcomed and supported students and researchers who were coming out of university and other competitions in a very, very new and immature context. At the time, there were barely anybody to support them. Alex was starting Metavallon, but we were very, very few. So Orange Grove served a wonderful purpose there. And this cooperation has grown stronger over the years. In the past 3 years, it has gone national. I'm very, very happy to say that Orange Grove cooperated with the Ministry of Education and Religious Affairs in offering 2 series of master classes, Entrepreneurial University. And actually, they were very, very tied to the needs of universities at the time. So Greek universities that participated were supported to draft their strategies for entrepreneurship and innovation, which were then funded through NSRF, ESPA in Greek. And then in the next round, a more targeted approach to teaching entrepreneurship. So this has been very, very valuable. The most recent step, not to omit that this was presented to the Dutch royal couple. Last year, we were very, very happy to host them in Thessaloniki and the universities there, and very happy to present this program, and thank you for this opportunity. And last but not least, the most recent step in the journey, the site visit of 6 universities and research centers in the Netherlands to get a whole hands-on experience of the knowledge transfer ecosystem there. Thus, this has been very, very valuable. And personally, and on behalf of many others, I think I would like to thank you for all the support and cooperation and for being part of this community that's very, very close in Greece now. So on this note, I would like to welcome my distinguished panelists, and I would like to give you the opportunity to present yourselves. Let's start with Mr. Efthymiadis.
Nikos Efthymiadis, I'm an entrepreneur that was very close to Orange Grove when it was born, and even before it was born. So happy birthday, Orange Grove. And thank you, Ambassador, for inviting me here. It's a little emotional for me, actually, the Orange Grove, because it represented a lot of my worries at the time. I was a very close friend, Jan, at the time, and we were talking about innovation and what is happening in Greece. And we did not have people going out yet, but it was coming. We could see it very well, and we were very interested to see what could we do. And a lot of the elements, the points I want to make in this contribution today is that the important thing at that time I was the chairman of the Federation of Industries in Northern Greece and an honorary consul of the Netherlands, that's the friendship. But at that time I was the head of the technology park in Thessaloniki, a very unproductive status, with a very unproductive status, that we were trying to make the impossible. Bring the academia together and close with the researchers and close with the businesses. None of them at the early 2000 were ready to do that. The academia would prefer to make papers. The research would like to have projects from Brussels. And us, the business people, including myself, were not ready for spending money on R&D. So that was a real big issue. And it was only talking to Jan at that time, the only outlet to this was the private sector. The private sector should take an initiative, because nobody else would make the other parties interested. So the triple helix had to come together. And this was the real, and I think Orange Grove was really the start of bringing the triple helix together, and the private industry, big Dutch companies that have supported it, were private and could understand really the need for such a friendship. So would you like to stop here and continue later, or?
I stressed the date when preparing.
So really, together with Orange Grove, I developed simultaneously almost another initiative in Thessaloniki, trying to see what we could do in Thessaloniki in bringing this triple helix together. And what we could see is that there were no synergies, there was no cooperation. Nobody was caring for the other really. So what did we have to do? We had first of all to find a good incentive for everybody to think that yes, we should do it together. The Brussels helped, because they were insisting that the academia should join hands with the private sector in order to get some projects, the same with the researchers. And the private sector helped, because as we were growing in little Greece, we were more extrovert. There were fortunately quite a lot of Greek enterprises that were finding their way outside Greece with new products and innovation. So slowly, then a government came that said that this is the private sector. I trust the private sector. You can make money, you can make profit. And this was very encouraging for the private sector. So altogether, there was I was trying to find the English word for singiria, which I never did. What is the word for singiria? It's not a coincidence. Timing perhaps. So the timing was correct recently, about 5 years ago, that we could solve the problem that we were discussing with the Amsterdam. Still, Orange Grove was there, working quite well on that. So they gave us a land in Thessaloniki near the airport, about 756,000 square meters. And there we went through the bureaucracy to get all the licenses ready and to create a place for R&D, which actually means coexistence of academia, research, and business people under the same roof. And this is an issue that has progressed quite a lot. We're almost ready to start. We're about 3 months away from starting digging in the place. We have about 100 companies that already have signed that they want to cooperate with laboratories from the universities and researchers. And we have an Israeli fund that has joined hands with us, feeling quite happy with the Greek personnel, human capacity. Obviously, we have universities, we have about 120,000 students leaving the university every year. So that was a good incentive for Israelis that are very good in high tech and in startups, as you know very well. So we joined hands in that, and a research institute is investing about 35 million in this land. So all in all, we will have about 100 enterprises, and a research institute, and an Israeli fund and technology developer to work together in bringing the entrepreneurship closer to the academia and the research. I'm sorry.
Happy birthday, Orange Grove. I'm a very proud Orange Grove mentor since, I think, 2014. And I I could get emotional about that. What is funny enough is that
I started being a mentor in Orange Grove when my irrational but very passionate professional period started, which is connected to what we're talking about. Before that, my last rational professional activity was in the Ministry of Education and Research. I had been appointed in 2009 to 2012 as the Secretary Special for EU funds in the Ministry of Education and Research, a very honorable position where I worked really, really hard, and that's where I got the passion from, because I had the opportunity, but I was a lawyer before that, but always seeking for new challenges. So during these 2 years and 9 months in the ministry, I had the opportunity to understand how higher education works. I had the opportunity to see the talent and also the research talent, and how research was conducted in Greece, but at the same time being responsible for EU funds. There was always this comparison with the EU. So that's where the sparkle started, and then started my rational professional period, which is finished 1 year ago. Now I'm rational, so what I'll tell you that I'm doing is rational, but throughout these 9 years, I was doing everything. I created AELIA, which is a non-profit trying to support people in their employability or entrepreneurship, because I had seen in the ministry that there was a lack of that, and there were many programs, but there was people, higher education was not connected to the labor market, and there were a lack of soft skills. At the same time, I decided on my own, with no market demand, that I would like to be a technology transfer advisor, because I was a lawyer, I could understand IP. So I started doing volunteering in technology transfer because there were no positions, and also at the same time doing all kinds of projects. I was there with universities, consulting companies. So one of my main problems is that I cannot introduce myself because people have seen me in many projects. And that's what I was asked, what exactly are you doing? But throughout these 9 years of a lot of agony and not knowing whether I would have money next year, because apart from that, when we were doing activities with AELIA, there were some times we had sponsors, but even when we didn't have sponsors, we would do the activity because we had to create impact. So at least I feel proud that I've created a lot of impact with the people that were around me as mentors in AELIA, and also as volunteer in technology transfer, but also part of my paid
projects were action plans and consulting for technology transfer, and it started becoming more rational around 2018, where I
started working for the National Research Foundation, for ACT actually, National Documentation Center, which the mission of which, especially in the innovation unit, was to support connections between academia and businesses. And then the culmination point was at Demokritos, which is a major research center, where finally I started doing legal job, but also technology transfer, and I drafted the regulation for technology transfer and did a lot of work there, and became also a member of the National Council on Technology Transfer.
And IP, that's where I learned a lot, and I have to become more shorter in what I'm saying. So currently,
I realized there in Demokritos that I had much more to offer, and that I felt that I had to connect also AELIA, the capacity building activity of mine. So I tried to focus on capacity building for scientists, researchers, and link them with business. And that's why this August I created with other 15 members with other 14 members who were mentors of AELIA, we created Science to Business, non-profit organization, and that's our mission, to support exactly what this panel is about. So I hope it was not that tiring. At least I have a lot to tell you, a lot of stories to tell throughout this period.
Thank you. I can testify this is all true. We've been there. And she's always very, very enthusiastic. Thank you. And Professor Tsakarestou.
So, happy birthday to Orange Grove. I'm really delighted to join the conversation and the anniversary. So, I'm an associate professor, director of advertising and public relations lab, and the scientific coordinator for Creative Plus, the entrepreneurship and innovation hub of Panteion University, which is actually the birthchild of this excellent program you have launched with the Entrepreneurial University and collaborating with all the ecosystem. So for almost 30 years, I would say the most passionate thing I have been doing is connecting our students with the business world and the innovators after 2011, and initiate a lot of, let's say, startup competitions, joining forces with other organizations, including Orange Grove. So in that capacity, I'm very happy to share a few thoughts as the conversation is going on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Betty. And Christina, you can hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
So Christina Deligianni.
Yes. So thank you for the invitation and happy birthday to Orange Grove, and congratulations to the team behind the scenes, both at the Orange Grove and at the Dutch Embassy. Really happy to be here. I serve as the Policy and Programs Director at the Institute for Sustainable Development. This is an initiative that was established a few years back by the University of Cambridge and EPLO, an international organization with headquarters in Athens, Greece. We do a lot of work when it comes to policy making and to programs in sustainable development, but also innovation. At this period, we have an open call for a Horizon Europe program, an incubation acceleration, and brokerage program for deep tech and sustainability. So I urge you to visit the South 3E program and see whether you can apply and take advantage, leverage the services we provide. But I also work in ESG and sustainability and new technologies through my own company. So I'm an entrepreneur myself, and a mentor at various American accelerators. I'm very happy to be here, although this month I'm based in Abu Dhabi.
Thank you so much, Christina. So, first round of questions. I will start with Mr. Efthymiadis. Could you let us know what you think changed in the past 10 years in the Greek context with regard to connecting academic and research ecosystems to society, to the entrepreneurial business and the funding ecosystems? Have they come closer?
Well, let me first say that I didn't say a lot about myself. So I would like to say that I'm a stubborn old businessman that loves technology and innovation. And what was really bothering me all these years was that a country like Greece has that high-quality human capacity. It has brilliant students that live abroad. We have a lot of scientists in the Greek diaspora, and we just did not make anything about it in this country to bring them together. I could see startups like Orange Grove working very well, but still being isolated in their own sector of startups, where I would like to see the startups cooperating with mature companies in the same area so that they can benefit from each other and teach each other and learn from each other. All this really made me focus on what we could do to create synergies. So what really changed from that time to this time is that the Greeks realized that they have something really of high quality to offer. That's their education, their brain, if I may say so, and their culture. So basically what has changed is the culture. What has changed is that the educational side, the students believed in themselves, the academia understood that there would be a good reason to work together with the private sector, so did the researchers. And what is more important is that the whole society realized that it was really, the name of the game was a human intensive culture that would actually concentrate on innovation and new products. So what is really developing right now, and this is really the next step of the change, is what I call, or many of you would call also, an open innovation. And this is really what we are after in this technology park we are developing in Thessaloniki. We would like to see the challenges of the industry being brought forward in an open way, and ask both startups or spin-offs or other industries to share their experience and solve the other people's problems. So it's a matter of problem-solving culture, which is, we had a case in Thessaloniki very recently where 3 of prominent industries came up in an environment like this we have today. And they said, you know, my truck cannot go to near the places where it's very warm and I have a production process of 1,000 Celsius, and what can I do? And things like that, simple things, more complicated things. There were about 25 startups that applied to solve their problems. And this is, for me, a very encouraging thing. And this is really what is changing now, that there are more and more interest from all the triple helix partners to come together and solve issues. Another important thing is that, and this is also an example of our initiative, is that our stakeholders are the 3 universities of Thessaloniki, about 30 companies, corporations that put the initial money to bring the project until this level, which was unheard of in Greece until very recently, and especially in northern Greece, where we're a little bit more conservative. And the research people also are our stakeholders. Even the Greek audience in this place would never dream of having the topiki after the ikisi, the mayor, the mayor of the area where we're in our board of directors. But you know what we believe we should be doing, and this is again a cultural change, is that we should all decide about what we want to do together. There should not be really surprises of, yes, this should be done this way or this should be done that way. And this helps very much innovation, startups, and mature companies.
Thank you. So, Faye, you served successfully in various posts. You saw the birth and the evolution of this ecosystem. And I would like to ask, what are the frameworks, the networks, and the skills in place that constitute the strength for this ecosystem to go forward?
That's a great question, because it's nice to focus on strengths, but also to realize that strengths are a mix of frameworks and skills and networks. So I'll be precise in my answer. I'll try to be precise. First of all, I will focus on the word networks, because that was not obvious in the past years. And currently, there are a lot of connections between actors in various, there are connections between research organizations, between academics. There are connections between the representatives of businesses and academics. There are connections of all these catalyst organizations, like the Orange Grove, like Ithaki, like the organization running Orange Grove, and other actors, other accelerators. There's this collaboration, this networking, and this joining forces, and there are various examples. And I'm focusing on that because 10 years ago, that was something we were looking for. And now we can see networks and we can understand all the advantages of networks. There's work that must be done, because after you set up the network and it's functioning, you have to work on the governance of the network. It has to set goals and objectives which are realistic and operate, and all these are still to be to work on. Then on the other hand, talking about skills, there are people that are learning more about what it is about, what entrepreneurship is about. There are academics and researchers, particularly PhD and postdoc researchers, which are aware of the opportunity to commercialize their research. And also there are enterprises that embrace R&D more and more, maybe not that many, but still there are. We also have our small tech entrepreneurship ecosystem. We have, which is hugely important, and we have a young generation of talented people, maybe going abroad, but they have a lot of skills. They know what it is about. They bring experience from other ecosystems, and they're ready to come in and join forces with enterprises or startups here. So there's awareness, there's knowledge about commercializing, about integrating, let's say, science and research and into entrepreneurship and technology into entrepreneurship. And as far as the framework is concerned, I would point out that there have been initiatives which were authentic, and that's a first step. My experience out of the national, the sectoral council of innovation and which was it was a sectoral council for technology transfer and IP, where we really drafted a law. We are so proud that we drafted the law on spin-off companies, and we were encouraged to do so. And there was a great collaboration with people from various areas. So
this was an initiative, and there's also a great collaboration among universities. Currently, for instance, our capacity building services currently are offered to the Demokritos National Technical University and Athens Business University, Athens University of Economics and Business. And you see that there's authentic, there's a strategy that they have set up, and they really want to create impact. So as far as, to summarize what I just said, first of all, there are networks, and there are networks which really want to operate. There's still work to be done, but the networks are operating, exchanging experiences, and they're joining forces. There are skills because people have knowledge, and there is talent, and there's also talent which is coming from abroad and bringing in knowledge and skills related to entrepreneurship, and especially science-based entrepreneurship. We could give examples, but I'm just trying to be brief, but there are various examples, and I would be happy to share some of them. And then, as far as the framework is concerned, I would focus on authenticity of the will to improve the legislative framework. So I'm really proud of the law on spin-offs. That's why last time I told you that there is a framework, legislative framework. And there is an authentic will among at least public organizations to really have operating innovation units, technology transfer units. So these are the strengths currently.
Thank you, Faye. So Betty, you also have a long and remarkable record in connecting academia to real world. I always admired the way you linked your students to have hands-on projects with the industries. So I would like to ask you if you could pick two steps in this evolution. What are they? What are the two most significant achievements of the past 10 years?
Considering universities and entrepreneurship, right? All right, I think the most important thing is that a culture of ecosystem thinking has really been matured, meaning that all the universities gradually are entering this ecosystem and innovation and entrepreneurship modality in relation to how we can really work with our research results. This is the one thing. The most important thing, as well, I say, is that there is a huge demand, grassroots demand from our younger generations of students and researchers to be connected with the active real-world challenges that they could take the shape of innovative solutions, startups, or spin-offs. And I think this is what shapes the present and the future. The other thing is that we have matured in terms of institutional frameworks, infrastructure, meaning we have laws, we have funding, we have a lot of actors that really shape the space, and we have really become strong on forming collaboration networks. I would like to highlight this one that really impressed me, that now after 4 or 5 years of experimenting with meetup with people that work on tech transfer, now there is a real network among many universities, 23, 24, that really have formed a new network on technology transfer, and this is a real serious step. So from grassroots to real strategizing on how to move on.
Thank you, Betty. So I think I see there is consensus from different views that things are more mature and there are connections on the ground, and people are more ready now to take on new projects. So, Christina, you bring valuable experience from working in institutions and supporting growth and building ecosystems, all through the lens of sustainability and conforming to standards. So what are the forward-looking trends that the Greek university and research ecosystems need to take into account when strategizing right now?
I would just reiterate what others said, that the ecosystem is maturing. It is not what it was 10 years ago or 15 years ago, which is a positive step forwards. Through the ecosystem mapping that we have done in the south of Europe, we have seen that the challenges that Greek universities face are not unique. You can see them everywhere in the south of Europe, because there's this contradiction that there's so much research being produced, being churned in the south of Europe, but that never translates into entrepreneurship. So what we need, not only in Greece, but also when it comes to other countries like Spain, Italy, Portugal, Malta, Cyprus, even Cyprus, although Cyprus is no longer an emerging innovator, it's becoming a stronger ecosystem innovator. We need more synergies. We need more private and public partnerships, PPPs. We need more, what we say in Greek, exostrephia, outreach to the EU and to global markets. This is something that it is needed, so as to bring in more capital, more investors, to become more competitive. But also what I see is that we need a lot of more skills in entrepreneurship, both soft and hard skills. So we need more skills in sustainability, for instance, in business management, in public speaking, in adaptability. Pitching is the art of persuasion and argumentation and public speaking skills. And this is something that we at Greek universities, we have never learned that. And this is very important when you want to become an entrepreneur, when you want to pitch your idea to investors. But apart from that, I say that more partnerships and collaborations, and I'm very grateful to Orange Grove because it is a hub of not only innovation but also partnerships, collaboration, and knowledge sharing. This is what is needed.
Great. I would like to ask you. You mentioned extraversion. You mentioned notions. You have vast experience and you have done research recently. Could you share with us a couple of examples of how this can be achieved?
Well, I don't know about the vast experience. There is some experience.
I've studied. You do.
And I will be talking about some partnerships that I have been part of, and I think that they have worked. So one of the entrepreneurship groups that I have worked with is the Unreasonable Group, based in the US. And what they have done is they have brought together philanthropy, institutions, agencies, the government, venture studios to bridge the gap between the academia and what the industry does. The Earthshot Prize is also an initiative that, as an institute, we're very proud to be part of. The Earthshot Prize is a prestigious environmental award that has been established by the Prince of Wales and the British Royal Foundation, and searches for startups and initiatives and research to solve the environmental challenges. And last year, our nominee was Klimpact. Klimpact is a Greek association of more than 10 research centers and academia that try to solve all the challenges that exist not only in Greece but also in the Mediterranean region. It is headed by the National Observatory of Athens, which has been in the news for all the wrong reasons, in my opinion. But still, the Klimpact is a really great initiative of collaboration amongst Greek institutions. And there's another initiative which is called MIT Solve. MIT Solve is a partnership, a marketplace of social innovation, of startups, of social entrepreneurship that is headed by MIT. And what it does, again, it bridges the challenges that startups face and the industry faces with what research can solve, what research can bring to, and researchers can bring to the table. So I would really urge you to look into these institutions, the Unreasonable Group, the Earthshot Prize. We have an open call, so if you are a startup or an initiative that would like to benefit from the award, get in touch with me. And something else that is very important is through the recent accelerator that we have run, we have done a bit of brokerage. Challenges have been set by companies in big corporates in Europe and have been solved by smaller startups and research teams in the south of Europe. So what we have seen is big challenges by big corporates being solved by Portuguese and by Greek startups. And all this can be really a great paradigm, a great example of how research and academia can actually work together with industry. Because industry faces, especially because of climate change, AI, the huge technological developments, faces a lot of challenges and a lot of issues that private funding cannot really solve by itself. But through this collaboration and this confluence of research and what the industry needs, I think that this is the way forward.
Great. Thank you so much, Christina. So,
thank you.
Betty, Mrs. Tsakarestou, what is your vision for the next step of this evolutionary process? And what are the one or two parameters that, if changed, could have the biggest impact?
Well, I would like somehow to add on a little bit from what we've heard so far. I would like somehow to highlight that the Greek universities, the last decade, have made major steps into connecting the research and teaching and initiatives with the business world, the startup ecosystems, both in the country and as well as introducing networks and ties with the global ecosystems. So this is there are many, many projects around this. Some of those are funded by European funds, by Erasmus, by Horizon. So now I would say, but it's like the rule of thumb, we are invited, both universities, research organizations, industries, better call them ecosystems, to join forces in so many ways. And I think that the playground has really changed, and we shape it and it shapes us as well. So the first thing is this. Now, what about the vision? I would say that the idea that we can have, really dynamic ecosystems in the country, but also collaborating with ecosystems abroad. So connecting organically, teaching, research, introducing, I would say, experimenting with actual challenges and problems that we co-shape them. Both, I would say, actors, academic or business or civil society, depending, or even the government. We need somehow to agree how we shape the challenges in order to produce different kinds of solutions products or services. So we need the space, like the space that we have just mentioned in Thessaloniki, to connect all the actors under one space and umbrella, and at the same time to establish, I would say, the operational rules and incentives, because it's one thing to have visions, the other thing is how you operationalize everything we do. So we have to be very pragmatic and to provide results, KPIs, and learn from that. And I think this is a vision that could really empower all of us to move forward.
Thank you. Very much to the point. So, Faye, there is a consensus that we need to have synergies, that we need to have them all in one place, and it seems that all the various stakeholders need to assume their role and take responsibility. So, what do you think are the opportunities for each stakeholders, for universities, governments, private sector, social partners? If each of these stakeholders had one purpose to serve, what do you think it would be?
To work. And I hadn't talked with Betty before, but I was about to talk about metrics and KPIs and work and implementation. We've presented the positive side of things and we were a little bit generic, but if we were concrete, we would show that things are very fragile. And it's a very difficult challenge to connect ecosystems. It's a very difficult challenge to set up viable science-based entrepreneurship which competes at a global level. We're a very small country, much smaller market because we have been introvert for years. We're not like Latvia or Estonia. We've been very introvert and very risk-averse and with different mindset, and this has not changed as by miracle. They're only first steps. So yeah, there's a hype, and that's why I talked before about skills and networks and so on. But as we cannot cheer when we have just a legal document, because law has to be implemented, that's why we cannot cheer that we have set up structures in the universities and collaborations. It has turned out, and we will be pragmatic here as well, when working, for instance, in Orange Grove with the startups, it takes 6 months, and there are various startups that do just one small step. Or when we do this now, capacity building with some of the spin-offs in Demokritos, we need to work at least 32 hours with each team, and then they're only researchers. There's a huge challenge to find people, someone to undertake the operation and administrations of the spin-off. They have a time issue. We try to compete and talk about tech transfer when we set up offices with 3 officers who don't even have the time to work, and you go to Copenhagen and they have 22 officers, or you see smaller universities in Sweden and they have 23 officers and a budget, and now the budget will vanish in November because there's no more ESPA. No, this is not the way to do it. The way to do it is to, I was about to say that, to set your KPIs, reasonable and realistic ones, to have people who are educated, work hard, stop doing all this networking, become silent for a little, stop the networking and the events, understand how hard it is to create from science a product, how hard it is to set up a team which is viable, and how hard it is. It's not just the hype of a competition where you ask 30 startups to bring you an idea and then give them a prize. Have you understood how difficult it is to do the conflict resolution, make a project plan, work, make the contracts, have people deliver on time, the business is in a hurry, the researchers have their own timelines. So this is the time to face the real problems. And if we don't understand that we have to work, and also that we compete at a global level, another challenge, and I finish with that, sorry, but I get passionate on that, and I could bring a lot of evidence on what I'm saying. The first thing is serious work with very high standards and a lot of dedication and less events, more work. And then the other thing is understand that Greece is just a small provincial village in this global technological ecosystem, and it really has to connect and actually connect. There are even tools like cost actions in the European Union. Use them. Marie Curie fellowships, use them. Bring people here, work with people, connect. I was glad also the examples that Christina mentioned. For instance, there's another organization about antibiotics in Geneva, where there are countries and businesses and researchers, and there's no Greek representation. I finished. I got passionate. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Faye. So, Mr. Efthymiadis.
Can I respond to this?
Can he? I think you can.
I'm a little more optimistic than my co-panelists here.
Okay.
I
have yet another question afterwards.
I think there's a lot of passion, yes. But today is the birthday of Orange Grove, and this is a very good example. When Orange Grove started, there were just a few startups. Today, there are about 2,000 startups. There are about 5,000 people working on startups. There is about 10 billion euros capitalization of startups. This is just an example. So there are, in my home city, Thessaloniki, we have new investments from big multinationals like Pfizer and Cisco and CHAP and other companies that are coming and are very interested. I can assure you that what I want to say is that no matter how small we are, we're not that small. But
I said it as a challenge, not that it's bad.
I will come to the challenge. But no matter how small we are, I think that there are some qualities here that have to be taken very seriously. There is the stuff, there is the background, there is the foundation here, which we have to take very seriously. So the international market has taken us more seriously than we think. They are looking at us with some opportunities that they feel they exist here, mainly on the human capacity side. So I think we have to see that what the big challenge, because I think that was your last question. The big challenge is how we will stick together and how we will do it together. And I believe that all three partners have to do their own homework. The government has to take some serious steps toward the educational system. It's not a good educational system when it comes to entrepreneurship. We have to do something about it, whether it is, which is more practical and comes closer to the entrepreneurial needs. The entrepreneurs have to do something better. We have to spend more money on R&D. We have to be more extrovert. The researchers have to do something about this. They have to understand that they can make money out of working together with the entrepreneurs. So all these three elements, these stakeholders together, have to take it very seriously, because I believe, and I stop here, I believe that there is future. There's a lot of work that we have to do. There are a lot of challenges, but Latvia and Estonia were very good examples. They were much smaller than us, you mentioned them, and there are very good opportunities to do something even better in this country if we manage to solve the problems that we all know.
Great. I want to ask the final question, but anyway, you know what I want to ask. There's another thing. Okay, so you have set the stage. ThessINTEC has set the stage for the development of 6 large ecosystems. They build around different technologies. They involve several partners, local and international academia and research, business, government, professional bodies, and networks. This is a remarkable achievement. It holds high aspirations for all of us who've been working in this field. You are the way forward. And I would like to ask, what are the targeted mechanisms that you have in order to engage closer with the university and the research ecosystems, in order to develop and attract the talent necessary to support these mega projects and the companies within ThessINTEC?
It's all a matter of the incentives we develop among each other. I mean, these, what you call mega projects, are 6 clusters that about 100 corporations and the laboratories came together and realized and made a business plan. And they said, we want to work together to create, let's say, an aluminum profile that is 10% lighter, so that I can build another floor in my building. I want to make a new variety of tomatoes. That's why I go to a cluster. So what we have done, and this is a very good example, is that there are specific sectors with specific academia, specific researchers and recipients of this effort from the industry point of view, and they have made something sensible. They all want to add value to what they are doing. There is an end product. There is something that they can wait for, pay for in the beginning, and wait for and make profit out of at the end. So I think this is the cohesive element that is a good example of how we can all think. And this is quite, irrespective of, the government. We can do it as a private sector, as individuals from academia, as individual researchers. Once we realize that there is something in it for everybody.
Okay, thank you. So we don't want to consume the whole time for questions from the audience. So the floor is yours. Any questions?
A lot of universities look at it in terms of like incubation program and all of that. But what if we go above that, where the professors can contribute as advisors in some of these startups, so they can prevent the failure rate and give like the latest research and all of that happening in their businesses. So these are just the two things I have to say.
Just because it's very interesting to have your view out of the African ecosystem, but just for an interesting information, the mission of the organization I co-founded in August, Science to Business, one of our 3 pillars is to set up a new language of communicating innovation, not science, innovation. And we are trying to make some international collaborations now. Part of our work is also to simplify how you present patents, how you present your R&D profile as a professor, as a PhD, to do your PhD in a short position. And throughout this, the collaborations we're trying to pursue to create this new culture of communicating innovation, we understood that it's a global need to have the best possible communication of all the science that is applied science and innovation that is created, because first of all, not to duplicate the effort, and also because there are things that are there and we don't see them. So what you raised as an issue about the bite-sized information and the research is something that I've recently understood, that it's not just was my need, but it's an international. The Falling Walls, you might know the foundation in Germany. So yeah, this is something we should focus on and be aware and try and create our tools for communicating innovation.
Thank you. Well, I see there's interest for discussion. But outside, because we need to leave the floor for the next panel. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Christina, for being here.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.